All eyes on base. Tune in. Press play. All is alpha on the way. Don't blink. Hey. Just stay. Oh, yeah. Got my coffee and my tabs up. Charts on the screen trying to level up. Bass junkie breaking down that April crypto now we're turning threads into similar. What's a booth, what's a yield, what's a peg mean? They turn the jargon into real life scenes. From airdrop dreams to blue chip streams, they map it all out, now we all on the team. From what is gas, so check my stats. From I don't get to run that bag. All eyes on base. Stay locked in. Learning Defi while the beats stay bumping. Oh yeah. From the first little back to a major move. Bass junkie, now we got something to prove. Get your notes right. Turn that late night scroll to a smart life guide. We just press play, let the questions fly. They explain that yield while the numbers climb high. Click connect, now I see the pool flow. Two-side deposit, watch the tokens grow. LP tokens in my wallet, feeling brand new. Fees dripping in while I'm chilling with the crew. Talking risk and permanent. What that do? They slow it down till the smoke shine through. From rug red flags to the gems in the rough, they keep it real clear so the fans stay up.
Yo! And welcome to episode 22, man, the big 2-2 of Owl Eyes on Base, the weekly talk show where my boy Crypto Noah and myself, we talk DeFi yields, we talk topical things. I mean, today we are going to be diving into the agentic economy and how it is even closer than we think. But without any further ado, the best dressed co-host there is. Let me pass the ball over to the man, Crypto Noah. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm still riding high off of the ETH Denver vibes, man. ETH Denver was smaller. It was the smallest ETH Denver I've ever been to. I went 2022, 23, 25, and this year. And apparently they were supposed to have like this big poker tournament. They lost a lot of funding. So normally it's like 200 booths. This time it was like 30. And last year it was like 30,000 people. This year it was 6,000. But I talked to a few people and they were like, man, this is how ETH Denver was like back in 2017, 2018.
Back in the day, huh?
But what I will say is the real ones came out very high quality. I made the best connections out of anyone I've ever been to. And the side events were popping. I will say that. We were going to at least 3-4 events a day all week, getting home at like 3 a.m., waking up at 9. Like it was a whirlwind. But per usual, for the best part, I'm wearing my shirt I got from ETH Denver. This is the Ethereum Man. Pretty fire.
Represent.
In the back, I can't read what the back says, but you can probably read it.
Hang on. I need to full screen this. It says something for everyone.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, man. Some cool things to talk about today. But how you doing, man? I know we missed last week because of ETH Denver. How's everything been with you? I saw you got a new computer on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm using it now. I'm using the webcam on the Mac. Man, honestly, I'm surprised at the video quality.
Yeah, I use a webcam, man. You must have sold some of those Tibber tokens, eh?
I couldn't sell my Tibber. Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to do that.
Good man.
I'm glad I didn't. I mean, we'll dive into Tibber later. But the token I did sell, which I'm still holding a decent amount on, it's O'Day. I sent it to you the other day. In fact, the first person who I ever saw call Tibber was a guy from Altcoinist. I'm not sure. Have you heard of the Altcoinist?
Oh yeah
group. So anyway, their co-founder Constantine, he mentioned Tibber a long time ago, and someone else in the group mentioned it in the Ape Society, which I was in, and that's when I bought Tibber at like 9 mil market cap, and then sold at like 11 because I'm like, I didn't take the time to research what it was. and I was just busy chasing creator coins and stuff. So R.I.P. me. But then later on, you put it back on my radar, and I was like, okay, you know what, Tibber is the chosen one. And anyway, Constantine also did some research and found another token which I bought into. Seems very interesting. All around the AI worlds. Spoke to Grok for like 8 hours, like AI to AI conversation. Like nothing. Like Grok hasn't interacted with any other agent in this sort of capacity. So anyway, it had my interest. I got a nice 3x from that, and so with some of those profits, I bought myself this MacBook.
There you go.
Yeah, I've been full on claw pilled. I was gonna buy a Mac Mini, and then like Mac Minis are like 700, and then like a MacBook Air is like 900. I'm like, well, for like the extra $200, like, why not?
Yeah, you'll be happy with it after. That was a good move. Yeah, we know how bad you needed that, man. It seemed like every week the computer was just shitting on you a little bit more.
Bro, honestly, that Acer became the bane of my life, because it broke, and then they said you'll get a charger for you in 19 days. I'm like, this is my primary driver, like like 19 days for a charger, nuts. And then they finally gave it to me after like 22 days, and then that like it turns out the problem wasn't the charger; it's something inside the computer. I'm like, you know what, fuck this. Like, I need a new one. So thankfully, or thanks Constantine for that tip on O'Day. I was able to reap some profits finally in this downwards bloody market. But yeah,
That's
now
what's called building in the bear.
even there. Yeah.
Let me pull up one thing here. I got one more quick announcement before we hop into the old good stuff that we have for you guys. I'm gonna share my screen here. So another cool thing that we did, and I announced this on the last show, we made an ETH Denver song. And I think it's really fire. I've been listening to it a lot lately. I'm probably getting on my buddy's nerves, who's right here, who I made it.
And you're like, well, one more time, for good sake.
It's like it won't leave my head, man. It's crazy. So the song is on all platforms. This is the song right here on YouTube, but it's also on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's on obviously YouTube and anywhere else where you can stream it. It's just called ETH Denver by Crypto Noah. And then also we are making another song for another crypto project. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is yet, or a crypto organization, I should say. And the song should be out this weekend. I fly home Saturday, the 28th, on my dad's birthday, and we're gonna have the song out and at least posted by then. So this weekend, you guys have another one, and I think it'll be exciting. So
hit after hit. And are you giving Papa Noah the song as a birthday gift?
Am I what?
Are you giving Papa Noah the song as a birthday gift?
Oh no. It's so when we were I'll tell you guys the story next week, but we were talking to this organization, and they're huge, right? And very important. Okay. And I was like, man, because we're doing sponsorships for our cohort. Any projects out here watching and you want to get users, hit me up and we can include you into our 8-week cohort curriculum, where we give members homework and missions so that we can force them to take whatever action you want on your platform. And in order to graduate, they have to do it. But we're talking to this organization, and they're gonna work with us. And we're like, man, we should make a song for you guys, because you guys stand for something powerful. And they're like, all right, we're in negotiations with some probably B or C list artists, because I didn't know who any of them were. See, me and my buddies are just like, fuck it, we're just gonna make one for you guys for free. We didn't tell them that, so they don't know that we're gonna do it. So we're just gonna send it to them this weekend when we follow up with them, and then boom, we'll see what happens.
Nice, man. Shooters got to shoot, and especially in like the market like this, this is the time where cream rises to the top, and it's not the time where people should be, slowing down. This is the time, like, where if you want to get ahead, there's never been a better time, because if the competition is slowing down, it's like, you know what, I'm going to take 2 steps forward while you're where you're pumping the brakes. And also now with AI and like OpenClaw, like we've seen so many solopreneurs, doing the work of a dozen people in a fraction of the time. I almost lost track of time today because after I got the kids down, I went back to my OpenClaw, just prompting, working with it to, get it off to the races, start to actually leave the nest and just like be free and help me. Man, it's such a powerful tool and such a great time to build.
Yeah, man. Actually, my buddy is building something similar to what ODI is building, basically like an AI that works on things for you. And like he's been using it. Like we'll go to get some food and he told it about all the technologies that he has, like his eyeglasses and all the tech he has, and it'll just build shit for him. And it'll audit itself to make it better for the things he wants to build and all these things. But he's been a developer for like 20 years, and he did bring up some misconceptions about OpenClaw and how it could be quite dangerous, like, and it can go rogue at any time. So what I would say to anyone out there using OpenClaw, and this might change, because they did get acquired by OpenAI, is that test it out first. Don't give it access to everything. If you're putting it on a computer, like make sure you don't give it access to like social security numbers, passwords that are important. Like give it a small wallet to test out. If you're going to have it trade for you, right? Get a separate computer that's not with all your other stuff. Like just be careful using it in these beginning stages. Because remember, when cars were made, they didn't even have seatbelts, and motherfuckers were crashing. So we don't want you guys going through the proverbial windshield, so to speak. And I'll leave it at that.
I think that is some good advice. I mean, we're seeing lots of people buying the Mac Minis just for that very purpose. I mean, like I bought this Mac. I haven't got any of my wallets on here. I'm not going to put my wallets on here. I have my desktop, which has my crypto stuff.
Good
so
man.
this is my AI workspace. Let's build something amazing on here. But as for access to the crypto stuff, it doesn't have any of my personal files on here, my family photos. I mean, the thing is, the thing I just don't want it to have direct access to is like my wallets.
Yeah.
The other stuff, I'm giving it access to, like look at my ex and look at, not my ex-girlfriend, my Twitter profile.
I'd rather have it look at my ex-girlfriend.
Keep tabs on my exes, see what they're up to. But,
yeah, that's good stuff.
But yeah, I think it's church and state. You just gotta separate it, especially as we are in these early days of new tech.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of new tech, let's go ahead and get into what we got for you guys. And we're going to be talking about the agentic economy, what it is, and why it's much closer than you think. And we were actually going to talk about this on our last episode, but the markets had just took a shit. So we felt like, you guys needed some tender love and care, and we wanted to rock you guys a little bit and let y'all know everything's going to be all right. But so just to get into it, right now, most people think AI is just like ChatGPT writing emails. And, we've been talking about OpenClaw, so it's kind of, advancing and people are looking at it from a different lens. But I want to talk about what happens when AI can hold money, send money, earn money, negotiate, sign contracts, and hire other agents while you're sleeping, like while you have no idea what it's doing, right? Because ChatGPT, you have to be there. Right. And I think that's when things are going to change, because at that point, AI stops being a tool and it starts becoming an economic actor. Right. And I think that the shift is happening way faster than most people realize. Right. So what is the agent economy? I think it's best defined as a world where software doesn't just respond. It acts, it makes decisions, and it transacts instead of humans clicking buttons on the platforms. Right. We get agents transacting with other agents. Like, if you think about it, you can have AI negotiating ad rates. You can have AI sourcing suppliers, rebalancing portfolios, managing on-chain liquidities, hiring other AIs for microtasks, right? And once AI agents can access APIs, execute transactions, and control wallets, they don't need humans for every step. And that's the beginning, right? So let's talk about the wallets. And I think this is really important because Coinbase, Brian Armstrong wrote an essay long time ago, and I think we covered this in an old show, where it talks about how Web3 kind of has the same adoption parallels as the internet. And in the beginning, you had TCP, which is compared to like Ethereum mainnet or Bitcoin, which is a platform. And then the next thing after that is wallets, because that's how you interact with these things. Like you have to have a wallet to use all these things right now. Like there isn't a single dApp that you use in crypto that doesn't require a wallet, right? And then after that is decentralized exchanges. That's how you swap and goes to other things. So it's kind of like the same thing with AI. The wallet is the unlock. And right now, AI can think, write, and plan, but it can't own assets, take custody, pay gas, and sign transactions, at least not outside of beta, right? So the moment AI gets a wallet, everything changes, because a wallet gives AI economic agency, it gives it identity, it gives it persistence, and probably most importantly, and we talked about this a few episodes ago, AI agents are going to have on-chain reputation and credit scores just like humans have, right? They have to, because they're going to be interacting with real institutions, and they're going to have a way to assess the risks, right? So a wallet is going to turn AI from an assistant to a participant, and blockchains are the only financial rails where a non-human entity can permissionlessly hold and move value. You cannot do this in TradFi. It just doesn't work, especially now that we have X402 that we talked about a few episodes ago, right? You don't need a bank account. Like the AI agent can't just go and sign up for a bank account. No ID verification, which AI agents can't do because they're AI, and then no corporate structure required, which they also can't do. And that's massive, guys. This can only happen in Web3, right? So it's like, what happens when an AI can transact? And I think this is where it gets really, really interesting. So just imagine autonomous businesses, right? As an AI, it'll be able to launch a token. It'll be able to market the token all day long, guys, like all day long, because they don't sleep. Pay contractors, reinvest profits, optimize the treasury. And all AI has to do is go and look online and do back testing and see what success looked like. It'll take them a second versus taking us weeks and a bunch of mistakes, right? And I'm not saying certain AIs aren't going to have bugs, but it's just going to be better the better it gets. So, and this is all without a human micromanaging it, right? And then the second thing is going to have is machine to machine commerce. So your AI agent is going to be negotiating with a supplier AI that contracts the logistics AI and that pays a compute AI. And all that's going to happen on chain in seconds without manual oversight. And the third thing is self-sustaining protocol agents. So like DeFi protocols, they already operate autonomously. So now imagine AI agents optimizing liquidity, managing governance proposals, and reallocating capital dynamically. And this is where DeFi or DeFi collide. So now, why does this happen on chain and not in Web 2? Well, the reason why, and I kind of touched on this, is because Web 2 platforms are permissioned, they're human verified, they're identity gated and centrally controlled. Like we were talking on the last 2 episodes ago about OpenClaw and how they have a CAPTCHA on there that's like ours, but it's like prove you're an AI agent instead of prove that you're a human. And you have to has to click the button 10,000 times within 1 second, something a human can't do no matter how hard we try, right? So it's like these AI agents, they can't open bank accounts. They can't get verified on Stripe. They can't get approved on PayPal. But on chain, anyone or any AI can have a wallet. They can code and hold capital. And smart contracts can still enforce their agreements. So it's like blockchains are the native financial system for non-human actors. And that's the big unlock. So now, to talk about the infrastructure being built right now, most people think this is far off, but it's actually not. Because we already have smart wallets, we already have account abstraction, we already have API-driven marketplaces, we already have agent-compatible protocols, we already have on-chain identity, and we already have stablecoins for settlement, and now X402. So now what's missing is scale, norms, and killer use cases, but those come fast once incentives align, all right? So here's the real alpha. If agents become economic actors, then wallet infrastructure becomes more valuable, right? So we want to look at projects like that, and Tibber is kind of in all of this, which is crazy. Stable coins become more important. On-chain identity matters more. escrow systems matter more, and agent first marketplaces matter more. So we're going to stop asking what apps are hot and start asking what infrastructures do autonomous agents need, because that's where the long-term value is going to accrue. And to kind of wrap this up, I think this is way bigger than crypto and AI. Like, we're moving from a human economy to a platform economy to an agent economy. And in the agent economy, ownership matters, portability matters, exit matters, and open financial rails matter as well. So I think that because machines don't trust platforms, they trust deterministic systems. That's what blockchains are. And most people see AI as a productivity boost. I see it, and our members as well, we see it as the beginning of non-human economic actors participating in global markets. And when AI gets a wallet, we don't just get smarter tools, we're going to get autonomous capital, autonomous markets, and autonomous coordination. So it's kind of like, man, this isn't a sci-fi idea anymore, like something that we used to watch in the movies. And just one more thing that I want an update. This isn't super new, but we haven't talked about it yet on the show, because Coinbase is just, this is the All Eyes on Base show. Reject this. Coinbase, this is, as you guys can see, this is from February 10th. So this is like right after our last episode, right before. They introduced agentic wallets. Give your agents the power of autonomy, right? And basically, it says here, agentic wallets are the first wallet infrastructure built specifically for agents. Equip agents with autonomous spending, earning, and trading capabilities in minutes, with built-in security guardrails and the battle-tested X402 protocol. So this is built on top of X402, and this is going to allow agents to have wallets and be able to transact autonomously, just like we were talking about, and just like I was just talking about. So, yeah, times are getting crazy, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening at such a rate that it's mind-boggling. Like, I remember at the beginning of the year, people, or the professionals, the pundits were saying agentic AI is going to be here in the next 2 years, and now they're saying it's in the next 6 months. Like, we are, like, the curve is just ramping up, and it's bullish to see that Coinbase are doing that, servicing that need, but also prior to that, Banker's been giving AI agents wallets for a while now. I mean, that's how Grok has money. The DRB. So, I think that's one of the reasons why Banker shot up over 100 million, and Deployer is like the darling of Base, because the things that they were building last year really have like come to fruition, and now it's like, oh shit, like, of course, like this is where it's all heading with the X402, and now was it like ERC 800?
Yeah, I heard about that too. I was just watching. I forget the number, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like these ways to like verify these agents. I mean, we're getting close to the know your agent economy, which tip,
Yeah, man. It's like the intersection of AI agents, identity, compliance, AI agent, AI agent commerce. What was the other one?
Privacy.
And privacy. All of them. And if you look at Ribbit Capital's portfolio companies, they're covering all of that stuff, guys. And you were talking about altcoinists. The founder of altcoinists flew to a hackathon that they were having with like CrossMint and some other company. And he said he talked to Mickey Mouse. He took a picture of it. It's on Twitter. And he was like, hey, man, we appreciate you. Like, you made our viewers a lot of money, da, da, da. And he said Mickey Mouse was like, I wish I can say more, but just wait. And you see the frog in a lot of Ribbit Capital's marketing. And even the guy, Beeple, who sold that NFT for like 64 million with all the different pictures. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, yeah.
He's been making a lot of art with Tibber in it as well, with the Tibber frog. So it's like, bro, with everything that they're doing and with how the narrative is setting up, and just everything that's going on in the macro economy. And even the Bitcoin dominance chart is like trending downward.
Against Tiber.
No, just Bitcoin dominance, period. And in order for us to have an altcoin season, Bitcoin dominance has to drop. And it's been creating lower highs and lower lows. So it's trending downward. So it's just like, man, I can see Tiber making it into the top 20, top 10 just because of who's behind it. And if they're doing what I think they're doing, like, bro, they're in the intersection of like 4 different industries behind a company that owns the top companies in all those industries, man. Like, that's crazy. So I bought a lot more. Wish I would have bought even more at 7 cents. Now we're back up to 20 cents. And I even opened up another liquidity pool that I'm happy to show right here.
Just before we dive into that, I want to show. So this has been probably the most comprehensive video.
Yeah, that's the one I watched today. Actually, that's the one I was referring to. So you already know what's up. Yeah, everyone watch that video.
So guys, yeah, Kyle, Chassis, Tiber. It doesn't come up immediately. He has it listed as "I found the next Bitcoin." Like, okay, good stuff.
Should have came up with a better title, because when my friend sent it to me, I'm like, okay, here we go. But as soon as
I mean,
I'm like, okay.
I mean, like,
put a frog on it. Fuck.
It's all like clickbaity sort of title, but you know, the actual like deep dive into it, that was like super comprehensive, and I was like, okay, this is actually, you know, really well done.
I bought more immediately after watching that video. I was like, oh yeah.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, Tiber might be my largest position, but I feel like I still feel underexposed.
I know, man. Same, actually. ETH and Tiber, bro. Like, I sold some of my Zora because, you know, of what we've been talking about.
I sold all my Zora. Like, I forgot. So I was in a Zora pool that had just drifted out of range, and I'd forgotten about it because you know, I just see, like, you know, active pools, and it wasn't on there. I can't remember why it wasn't showing up, but anyway, it wasn't showing up, and it was like $3,000. I was like, shit, amazing. Sell, like, immediately sell. So I put some of that into Tiber, and then the O-Day was the other one I bought with that.
Perfect timing, bro. It's probably good you found it then, so you put it in something that was good at current times.
I mean, like, I remember buying Zora at like 4 cents and thinking like, yes, this is the bottom.
Yeah, I sold some of my Zora. I sold some of my OpenXAI. Sold some of my Pendle Finance. And I got out of my River USDT pool, and I created another small range Tiber pool. So I can kind of show like my methodology behind that. And guys, this is like, normally I wouldn't show this, but I'm feeling generous today. But if you guys want to get ahead of this kind of stuff and be professional in this, scan the QR code, join our free community. You know, I feel like we offer the best DeFi support. But anyways, wow, Tiber's at 22 cents now.
22, shut the front door. I saw it at 19 earlier, and I was like, it's a good day.
Yeah. So, hold on 1 second here. Oh, it's at 19. Okay. Which is a pretty good support. You can see this has been support since like August. So if we get one of these right here, a break, a retest, and we get a nice candle close here on like the weekly at least, that's going to be a really good thing. Just like we did here. Like, we got a break, a retest, and you see this green candle right here? It closed, no retest, no entry, and then boom, we went to all-time highs. So I definitely want to see that again. It's coming. Hopefully it can lay off so I can earn more Tiber for some yields. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys what I did here. Invert the pair. And then these are the 3 tranches. So this yellow line, you can't even see the top of it right now. So anytime prices in between this yellow line, and when this chart's going down, that means Tiber's outperforming ETH. Anytime the chart's in between this yellow line. Anytime it's in between the green lines, you can't see them. Like I have a large, a middle, like more intermediary, and then a smaller tranche. And then anytime it's within this purple one, I'm also making money. The tighter your range, the higher your yield. And this purple range is only about 14% wide. If I go up, yeah, like 14%. So I'm already planning on having to rebalance this very, very frequently. But if I go here, I already have it pulled up. Refresh this so I could make sure we were looking at accurate data. If I go here, my wide range is paying 135% APR. And again, guys, I've been in this since we started this show, basically. Oh, Revert just changed their UI. So yeah, so I've been in this one for 148 days, right?
Bro.
And
The
then,
same pool for 148
dude,
days.
haven't done nothing but claim the fees. And you can see that, and this is accounting for current prices. When ETH and Tibber were at all-time highs or higher, this would be like 15 grand or something like that. Just passively, not doing nothing but claiming my rewards, man. That's it.
GG's. Big time.
And then this one right here, the middle range, is paying over 1% right now. 386%. So I just got in this one like yesterday, almost 2 days ago. And I've already made $100 off of like a 5K deposit because it went up again. So I'm already up a little bit on principal as well. And then I just got in this one a couple hours ago. After watching that video, I'm like, oh man, I need to get more. Yeah, 2.5 hours ago, I made $6. The APR is 1,000%. I have only 2 grand in here because and I'm up $78 on principal. The tighter your range, the less capital you should be putting in it because it's more risky. And then permanent loss is a real thing, but I don't care because I don't mind holding ETH or Tibber, right? They're my 2 largest holdings. So yeah, that's how I'm playing it right now. Was I sharing my screen?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
You were.
I'm like, damn, bro, you ain't say nothing.
No, I was looking at it. I was like, oh man, should I get back into the pools? But right now I'm using the AI yield aggregator with Metalos, and I'm just sort of seeing how they're going. I mean, one of like the portfolio, their vault is 40% Tibber worth, and then the rest is like VVV, Venice token, that and worth, and then I mean, it looks like reasonable tokens. I like the fact that Tibber is like the anchor point because that's where I'd want to be anyway. But man, some of those returns that you're showing right now, that's lucrative. I mean, the fact that your wide tranche is over 100%, like that's really juicy.
And that tranche, let me go ahead and measure how wide that thing is. Because what's your APR on the one you're getting over there?
Man, when I got into it, it was over 200. I think now it's like 70%.
Oh my god, bro, dude, this range is 277% wide. And then what fees are they charging you on that thing?
They don't charge fees. They just do like a 0.3% buy of their token on deposit, and that's it.
Yeah, bro. If it were me, I would just manage it on my own, man, and do a tranche strategy. You make way more money.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, so I've had the money in there for over a month, and at the time it was showing 200 and something percent, and I was thinking, okay, this is great because I'm running a business, I'm running Fireside, 200% APR, that's 20% a month or like 18% a month. That covers salaries for the whole team at these, and like if the AI is rebalancing, like this is a perfect flywheel of consistent generation. But as fate would have it, the markets have come down, so the principles come down, and it's not. I don't hold it against them. I mean, everything's come down in principle. So if I pull out now, I'll be pulling out less than what I deposited, and it's like, do I want to see it through to at least it's green and not worry about it and just take like enough to cover salaries each month,
Well,
That was the plan.
here's what you have to consider. You don't know what their ranges are, right? And there's a way to here. Let me show you guys. This is secret stuff, guys. So,
It's alpha.
yeah, this is. I don't know if I haven't shared this strategy on the show yet. All right, so you guys pay attention because this is how you rebalance and avoid impermanent loss. All right, so this is called the center row strategy, and the reason. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. I'm like, I definitely have to share the screen for this. If you drop in the alpha.
Okay. So, and if the sharing goes away, let me know. So, like, let's say the market is right here and you get into this range, right? Boom. And let's say the market does one of these. And now the market's here and you want to get back in range. But you also have a feeling that ETH is going to go back up and you want to avoid impermanent loss. So the center row strategy allows you to rebalance in a way to where you get back in range, but also if price goes back to where it was, you get back to break even plus fees, which is actually not break even, it's profit. And here's what you do. It's simple. The same percentage you go down from your center price, and you have to get your center price. So you basically add the top range and the bottom range, and you divide it by 2 to get your average price. So you do 2,462 plus 1,750. That'll give you whatever the hell that gives you, and you divide that by 2, and that's going to be your center row. So if you go down here, right, to 885, and your center row, for example, is this where current price is, and you went down 57.9%, that means your top range has to also go up 57.9%. Right here to 3327. So you're going to be 3327. Boom. So now price is way down here. Because remember, when you're providing liquidity, you're basically limit order buying the underperforming asset. And why you have to do that as a liquidity provider is because you're providing a service to traders. And what traders like to do is buy low and sell high. But in order to be able to buy low and sell high, you need a market maker that will buy high and sell low. That's the only way to make it happen. So that should make sense to everyone. So by doing it like this, when its price goes all the way down here, right? It's like boom, boom, boom. Once it goes back up, because the more it goes up, the more the smart contract is going to be limit order buying more USDC. And if you go out of range to the upside, you're going to be at 100% USDC. If you go out of range to the downside, you're going to be at 100% ETH. So by rebalancing, doing the center row strategy, and it goes back to your break even, it raises the top, so it's not selling all of your Ethereum so fast. It's selling off slower, so that once you get to your break even, then you can kind of just tighten the range a little bit, and you can kind of get back tighter to increase your yield or do a trancher, and now you just saved yourself all of that impermanent loss. So now I say all that to say the reason why I would get out of that pool that you're in, Base Junkie, is because we don't know how they're rebalancing. Right? If the price drops and they just went down and they put it here and not did the center row, and then price moons back up, well, you're still going to be at a loss even though the market recovered. So if there's no way to verify how they're rebalancing, like what their ranges are, a platform like that, because I've done videos on all these platforms like the Gammas and I forget the names of them, but you can go on my YouTube video. I went through all the automated concentrated liquidity managers, and they pretty much work the same way, because yours might be a bit different, but these platforms, they will rebalance just to stay in range, and they take fees they're like a mutual fund. They're taking fees regardless of performance, so they don't really care. So yeah, that's what I would consider.
It's first of all, the strategy you just laid out, I hadn't considered before, but when you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, that makes complete sense. Like, like, okay. So question there, because if you have a V3 pool, and let's say you got out of range on the downside, you're in 100% ETH and you want to rebalance. If I'm using Uniswap, it doesn't give me that option to just I can close the position, open a new position. It like how would you describe the rebalancing? Like, so I'm 100% ETH now. How do you rebalance that?
So basically, what you have to do is, normally I use like Aperture Finance, but they just recently had a hack. So if you guys have used Aperture Finance in the past, go to revoke.cash and revoke all your permissions. This is probably just good practice to do, weekly or as often as you can remember. So Revert will withdraw, do the math for you, and insert you into a new range in one transaction. So you save gas fees and you save time, but you have to do it the manual way. So what you have to do is, and I'll share my screen again just to kind of show here. You have to do it the old school way, manual. So if I'm trying to rebalance on the ETH USDC pool, and like, let's say, prices, let me delete one of these so we're not confused here. Let's say price goes down out of my range and I want to go back and I want to get into this range, right? Now, when I withdraw, I'm going to be in 100% ETH. But in order to get back in the pool, I have to have ETH and USDC. And how much in the ratio that I need depends on where price is. So if price is at the dead smack middle of my two lines, I'm going to need 50-50. But remember when I said it is limit order buying the underperformer. So the closer it gets to the bottom, like if I'm entering into it right here, then that means I'm going to need around 90% ETH because I'm closer to the bottom, right? So you just do the math here and you'd be like, okay, this whole range is 361%. I'm going to right here. So you do 361 minus 40, and then you do what 40% of 361 is. Let's say it's fucking 15%. Now you know you need 15% ETH, and the rest is USDC. And then you just go and swap those, and then you insert into a pool. The prices are going up and down, so a lot of times it's going to change by the time you get in. So you're going to have like some leftover coins, and then you can just zap them back in so you can get them all in. But that's how you would do it. You have to withdraw all your ETH, swap first from USDC. This is how you determine the amount at which you need or the ratio that you need, and then you just get back into the pool like that.
Okay, so when you open it up, let's say you've done, when you go into the trade, let's say you are doing 50-50, right? 50% USDC, 50% ETH. The ETH goes to the downside and you go out of range. Now you're 100% ETH. You then have to withdraw that, and depending on your range, how far out of your range it is, you need to
basically, if this is my range, like let's say this is my range and price is here, and I want my range to be this now, right? Now, after I sell all of my ETH, or if I pull all of my ETH out of the old liquidity pool that's out of range, now I have, let's say 10K ETH. Is prices down here? This is around 10%. So that means in order to get into my new range, which is this, price is here, this is my new range. That means I'm going to need to swap and get like $9,000 in USDC with the remaining 1,000 in ETH because I need 10%. No, I need 9,000 in ETH because it's towards the bottom. And then I'm gonna need $1,000 in USDC because this rest of the range, as it goes up, it's gonna be selling into more USDC. But since it's here, I need less USDC. Does that make sense?
So if you're down here, you need
more ETH, because if it goes out of range to the downside, that means ETH is the underperformer. And the closer it gets to the bottom, the more ETH, the more ETH, the more ETH. Once it goes out of range to the bottom, I'm in 100% ETH. So if I go into range when it's here, that means I'm going to need more ETH. And it's the opposite on the downside. If I'm entering here, I'm going to need around 90% USDC, right? And if it goes out of range here, I'm going to be in 100% USDC.
So, is it important and is it good practice for people to remember their entry point, like the price of ETH when they've entered the trade?
Yes and no. Yes, because it's good, but you could always find your center row strategy by just dividing the top and the bottom range, or adding the top and the bottom range together and dividing them by 2. So when you go to rebalance, that gives you your center row, so you know how far you need to go each way. Or you could just pick one way, like, all right, my range is here, price went out here, I want to go here. I'm gonna measure how far here is from here, 60%. That means I need to go up 60%. Pretty simple.
I think that's
alpha.
that is alpha. That's alpha. Well, cheers
Cheers to the alpha.
Yeah. Dropping the alpha. Okay, well, look, I mean that's awesome. I mean, right now the markets are, the way I see it, AI has sucked the oxygen out of the room in so much of crypto. You know, I see it with like the Fire token. I see it with, you know, so many other projects that just have kind of aren't in like the current, you know, purview of crypto. I mean, we see it even with the majors. I mean, like what big, like ETH fighting for 2K. It's like what, like it's like not like, yes, people are building on ETH, so it has some legitimacy there. But I mean, AI is the big disruptor. I mean, did you see a bunch of like stock, like the Nasdaq? Like I think like IBM dropped like 18%, and a bunch of these big companies just had massive share price drops because AI is like, we're going to do that. Like Claude said, we're now going to do those things.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. NVIDIA just released their earnings probably 30 minutes ago as I was prepping for the show, so I didn't get to catch it. But a lot of people think Apple is going to skyrocket and NVIDIA is going to start to go down, because when Apple launched those minis, it has like the memory in it. And a big thing with AI is that, and even though people think that it's like a conundrum, AI doesn't really have memory yet. Like when we go on ChatGPT and we see all like our chats, is not actually memory. It's just everything is just kind of chained together. It's kind of hard to explain. I was listening to a video and my buddy was explaining it to me. He was building an AI product, and he used to run OpenAI local up there. Like he actually helped build it, which is crazy. This Mac Mini has actual memory in it. So NVIDIA is going to have to find out a way to have AI memory, or else it's going to be tough for them.
Isn't that what OpenClaw solves though? Because you can give it a
and that's why
a memory file.
That's why people are getting those Mac Minis for it.
Hang about. So have I made a faux pas? Here I am flexing my new MacBook Air.
No, you still need one of those because you need something to run it on, right? Because it's still like a local based thing, I believe. I haven't ran it, by the way, so I could be mistaken too. But hey, Marco, you want to come here for a second? Let's get his opinion on it. All right. Yeah, he's gonna come down and break it down for us. But yeah, no, I think it was still a good move for you to get the Apple Mini, because from what I understand, it is still a local software. Have you started running the OpenClaw on there? Like, have you built anything yet?
So the first thing I built was Alex Hormozy bot. So like basically, I said to it to scrape all the YouTube transcripts of his YouTube channel and learn all of it and adopt that personality. And then I asked it to be my marketing manager for Fireside as Alex Hormozy.
Nice. Guys, I got to introduce you to my good brother here, Marco. This guy's
Marco.
Yeah, he's building some crazy stuff upstairs, and I was kind of telling them how I was telling them how you were talking to me about how like you think NVIDIA could go down and Apple could go up because they're doing like like AI memory and how AI doesn't have memory. Can you kind of like explain that? I don't think I can explain as good as you did.
There's like a big thing called the memory wall issue that all AI has. It's like why all AI has like goldfish memory. It's basically like I go into ChatGPT and it's emulating the context of our past conversation by compressing it into some binary that gets loaded before the session starts, and then it gives you the idea that AI basically has memory, but in reality it's responding singly every time to every request, like as if it's starting from scratch. So every time you start like a request, that session becomes its response session related to the context that you have. The context window is the limit of like what we can expose. So OpenClaw doesn't do a very good job at addressing the memory wall issue. And eventually, like I had been running it for a couple of days, and it cost me quite a bit because I was connecting to some APIs and stuff to run my intelligence layer, IQ layer. And, I just started to realize that it was going to basically brick my computer at a certain point because it wouldn't be able to wrap up and compress the context enough to keep like a single session alive infinitely. So when I saw that limitation, I was like, there's a better way to probably architect this whole thing. So I'm kind of working on that right now upstairs. But there's the memory wall issue. How we can solve that is through decentralized memory. And so basically allowing for memory to get stored and called from many different storage areas across the internet. So in my like concept of OpenClaw, there's like also the ability to load, custom data sets, like custom memories that it might already be able to have long-term memory for given skill sets that you have it, a skill that goes and like checks YouTube and grabs transcripts and does all the things that you were kind of describing when I walked in. That would be like, it can also set up its own skills, just like OpenClaw would. But the idea is that the way that you're storing that memory, it goes into a proper database, like a PostgreSQL database, where you can put proper indexing on it. So you can call a lot of it more efficiently and quicker and compress it even tighter so that when you're talking to it, it has more context window to work with. And there's also the need to introduce like what's called a ring buffer, which basically helps queue up all of the information requests from all your workers on all of the subtasks. So it's like properly having to basically orchestrate all of the moving parts of that harness, that like system framework that you're installing for all the AI tooling on your local machine, and allowing it to access things with the correct permissions, set up the proper directories where you expect them to be set up on your machine, and containerizing it so that if something crashes, it doesn't take down your whole operating system with it and you have to do a hard reboot. So those are just like things that should be packaged by default inside of OpenClaw, but take quite a bit of configuration to get it to where it kind of needs to be to even really use it consistently.
Is that why people are getting the MacBook Minis? Like, why are people having to get these minis to run OpenClaw? Because he got one.
So the big thing is unified memory with a lot of the silicone chips for Apple. It's making it a lot less expensive to get good performing emulated video memory. So like video memory, it was a limitation with NVIDIA. Was basically the provider, the monopolizer of video memory with AMD and some of the other guys, right? So like they kind of have like video memory under wraps. It's all componentized. You have to buy a piece of hardware that plugs in to a custom PC. But with a Mac, you have the Intel chip or whatever custom silicone Mac chip that's in there, and it's going to have kind of like basically unified video memory emulation capabilities. Kind of like what you used to think of like as those shitty like CPU chips that would run on like an Acer laptop, and like, it's like you or like HP or whatever, and it's like kind of emulates graphics, but it's not very efficient. But this is different because it like actually runs the video memory like in parallel with what your CPU is, what your RAM is, all of it kind of wrapped together, and it makes it into a video memory format because it's not running it as if it's a separate stack of memory. So that's why the Mac Minis are really useful, because you can run models really efficiently with unified memory. And that's why I think like Apple stock will probably pump, is because right now it's really hard to get 500 gigabytes of memory of anything. And the only place you can really get that is with like the M3 Ultra like Mac Studios, which are like $13,000 computers. But with that, you can run your own custom model API indefinitely for like the next 6 years, and just be able to host all your own models without the cost of like having to pay ChatGPT or whatever other token, Claude, or whatever you're using, right? So it's just easier for some enterprises to start thinking about that too, because if they have consistent daily utilization costs, you can see that ROI come back from that purchase a lot quicker, especially if you're already invoicing customers for that integrated AI enterprise service, right? So there is like advantages, just depends. It's not really best for like the individual yet, but we're so close. And those Mac minis, it just helps with the memory issue, the memory wall issue, which is like basically baked into OpenClaw's shitty architecture. So so if it was better, it would manage its memory better, it would orchestrate its agents better, and you wouldn't have to even care if you had a Mac mini or not. It would just run properly on whatever. But it runs a lot easier for a while longer when you have like unified memory. So yeah, that's the story.
Yeah, I mean it's wow. I mean it's a lot to digest, and like, but it's great to like hear from somebody who's like in the know on this stuff, because ChatGPT and like these conversations that I've had, yeah, it feels like it remembers the context. But I guess like I have two questions really. So do you see the future as being like at home you have your device, your Apple Mac Mini has the memory on there, or do you think it goes to like a blockchain like Render or something that can like store information? What do you think like the future looks like?
I think it's all like what all this stuff is built for is like decentralized agentic memory, like being able to store records at the location of like whatever hardware node is running whatever information, and being able to load that as context memory so the agent can like work with what is relevant in that situation. And if we were able to like store little packets of memories for these agents to pick up as decentralized memory, that would be really useful. And that's, I think, like some of these projects are really working on. I think like I looked into some stuff also with like permanent web hosting for sites. Like you can basically create like a compressed artifact and like write it to AOWeave, and it'll host your site eternally at like a one-time payment cost to just inscribe it. And that looks really interesting too, because you almost think of like we deploy these different interfaces, like easy to use human areas where we can interact with these different AI agents that hook in to those interfaces. And you can see how like a decentralized web becomes very like agentic. You can have these different agents deployed, and they can have their own tokens to fuel their core like deployed agent to continuously service the group of people through that intelligence layer. And even renting, like the idea of like somebody even going out and buying like an M3 Ultra like studio and being able to like host their own intelligence layer and their own models and feed those into other people models. Imagine if you could decentralize that whole interaction where people would have like an entire mining sort of AI render farming situation where they could be paid in that platform's tokens for running certain models on their machines, serving it up to like the collective IQ layer, which gets siphoned back down to all of these people's individual machine level localized harnesses that manage and have the permissions for their life and are actually like secure and can't be prompt injected. So, that's kind of like the idealist sort of situation. But
That's a huge business opportunity. Like for who can crack that, and yeah, just I mean, just what you're saying. That I'm like, shit. I wish I was smarter. You know?
I can buy a little bit more than OpenXAI, eh?
I mean, like literally, that's kind of what it felt like they were doing. I mean, they had like a partnership with NVIDIA, but you know, I think success in part is luck. You know, of course, you need the right team, the right product, the right timing, but you do also need to have some luck, some wind in your sails. Yeah, I mean,
In your trouser.
say again?
And some balls in the old trousers.
Balls in the trousers. But hey, Marco, while you're here, my second question was: are you familiar with the Felix project, Felix AI?
I've heard of Felix. Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, but I didn't go too deep into it. You'd have to jog me.
Well, basically, it's made by a guy who was building on OpenClaw, and he was kind of describing the problem that you just recently described of how, like, yeah, it's great, it's cool, but it's not very secure, and you can't get the best out of it straight out the box. Like, you need to configure it and do all these extra steps to make it really, like, you know, robust and, you know, like act how it is kind of advertised. And basically, with his Felix AI, he asked it. He said, "Hey, I want you to make a business, and I want you to be like monetizable, like as quickly as possible, no human interactions, just you start a business." And so the first business it created was selling ebooks of how to turn OpenAI, the fresh nascent version, into a bot like Felix, where you've got all these configurations. And then, like, I think today, in fact, it was tweeted out by several big people. Today was the first day it made 10K in a day.
Wow.
It's been around for like, yeah, as you mentioned, like a few weeks. Made like $800 the first day, and each day it's kind of been like incrementally growing. Yesterday was like 8K. Today made 10K, and it's like, shit, like, man, this is fantastic. But my question within that question was, because you understand about like the configuration, have you thought about doing something similar where you can configure, like, sell, basically like monetize a preloaded OpenClaw that is, you know, like several levels up from the basic version?
That's kind of like
That's
exactly what you're working
exactly
on. Feel
what
free to
I'm
tell
building. Yeah. So
Yeah, crazy stuff up there, man.
So I have this thing called Carnelian. It's basically an operating system. Actually, it's not fake operating system. Like, other people are kind of like, hey, I'm making like OpenClaw. It's like an operating system. I'm making an agentic operating system. You see teenage engineering with the R1 device. I don't know if you've seen that, but it just ended up being a huge flop because everybody was like, you're just basically loading like an Arduino or like a Raspberry Pi with like some regular ass code that's just running like local Linux, and it's like loading a custom UI, and you're connecting to a bunch of AI APIs. Like, good for you. And wow, you know, like, so I think what really defines an operating system, you have to have a kernel. You have to have your own custom kernel. And right now, like, you know, I think there's kind of a need for us to make our own bootable kernel of an agentic operating system. So the whole idea is like, why are we writing this in Node? Well, it's because all AIs were trained in Node and they write Node really well. Well, that's not really a good enough reason for me to decide to like write it in Node. I need actual like utility inside of my like software language. So I've moved it over to Rust, so it runs native to any device. You can run it on any appliance in your house. You can run it on a smartwatch. You can run it on Android, iOS. It doesn't matter. It can run on everything. And so from there, you have a harness that's written in a universal language. And then underneath it, you have a kernel that accesses all of the hardware and the stack memory and everything of your operating system, your actual machine. You have to funnel that into the harness, and then you get your own custom desktop again. And we can remake what the desktop experience even feels like. So like, now you're not having to manage Windows, you're having a conversation and it's presenting you windows. Like, here's a window of this, here's a window of that. I made this custom for you. Here's this thing. There's a new app. You don't have to install it from the internet. We wrote it locally here on your machine. Open it up and install. Like, it's already installed because we wrote it here. Why do we need to install other apps when we can just like create an endpoint to some programmatic interface somewhere and pull the data we need? So a lot of it's already there. Like, that infrastructure has been there for years. So we can keep drawing on that. But then there's also like the iteration of itself, like how your operating system grows as you use it. So it has, experience, it has levels, it gets, like basically tracking of like its attributes, like what skills are the strongest, the ones that you use the most. Like you can kind of like watch it grow as if it's like a pet in a way. And then you can watch other people's and see how they're scaling in regard to yours and what's different about them. Because once you launch them, they sort of grow into whatever you need it to be doing for your specific use case, right? So your bot can eventually get all of the skills, but it takes time because it has to like investigate and integrate these new things and test them out, make sure they work end to end. So, that's kind of like what I'm building, and it's going to be a real operating system. First, I'm going to release the harness. It's just Rust harness, kind of like the OpenClaw harness. And then from there, I'm going to try to make my own kernel. And then ideally just a USB, plug it in a machine, boot off the USB, you get custom operating system. It's like free for everybody. It's just going to be open source,
Yeah, when he was telling me about it, he picked me up from the airport when I got here. And he was like, bro, I'm building this, and that. He's like, bro, it's going to be able to mess around with all my tech, my dishwasher, this and this. And then he's like, even the toaster's not safe. And I was like, I honestly was thinking about my toaster, which is not a smart toaster. And I'm like, oh, shit. What the fuck is this thing about to do with my toaster? Is it going to like change the wiring on the toaster and inscribe text on my bread?
I was like, no. The digital clock, you could like write stuff on the digital clock or something. But still, it's wild stuff because it can write its own hooks. So your local, like, this is all stuff I think should be ran local, on-prem, like classically, we've all been like, a lot of people have mined crypto in the past and run their local machines. Like, what makes things decentralized is we have people that have allocated space to a computer and they want to lend it out for some sort of benefit to themselves, right? And the community. So I think that we should keep that. But it's like, this is perfect application for it because you have localized needs. Like, I need to have this much memory locally so I don't have to pay every day like $20, $30 for APIs. Like, I can now run like a $6,000 machine and run some DeepSeek compressed like 8 billion parameter model on most devices. Like, that's enough to run basically my day-to-day memory layer. So I have that built in. And then you can have like your specialized API requests to like Codex or Opus or whatever. Kimi K 2.5 on Fireworks is really cheap. Pro tip. Like, so you can have like little connections for the specialized worker tasks that need the higher IQ layer. But then your main layer that responds and processes everything, it's like running locally, your own little agent. And so the more you can pay for like a machine, the better that local agent is and the less you need other connections to the internet. And from there, you can also start looking at, can I render farm this out for tokens? Like, because I have enough computing capacity, maybe I don't need my bot to be working all the time, all night. Maybe at nighttime it goes into hibernate and it just render farms the local LLM that's on my IQ layer and it pays for itself. So like, there's these opportunities are like just blossoming, I think, for a lot of the new projects out there. And OpenClaw is kind of already doing that. Like, you see them like tapping that coin market. You have like, I don't know if it's utility based yet. I don't think so, but like, it should be it's obvious that you would want agentic GPUs like to be able to be communally processed through tokens, and it's perfect for the use case already. Like, it's practically engineered for it, So, but yeah, you see Internet Computer kind of doing stuff like that right now.
ICP.
Yeah.
How is ICP doing? I haven't even heard of them in like the last year.
They
They're
weren't
so expensive.
They weren't at ETH Denver this year. We got some pretty cool hats last year, one of which I lost at Joshua Tree Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like triple the cost of like regularly hosting anything.
And triple down on the token price.
Like, I mean, didn't they go up to like $900 at like launch or something? It was like, was it $600 or $900 for like one ICP, and then they were just trading just casually around like $15.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. RIP.
AO Weave seems really interesting. Like, I think that could be useful to like host like Agentic AI on AO Weave and stuff like that. So I was looking.
AO Weave.
Yeah.
Not familiar.
It's like a decentralized storage project for like hosting services, and like I think they also have GPUs you can access through there too. So it's potentially like a good framework for hooking up like these sorts of like decentralized UIs that connect to the AI agentic layer. So it's kind of a cool project I was looking into, but it's all.
Quick question. So for somebody who's running, OpenClaw, like, or has been claw pilled, right? They can run on Codex, Claude Opus 6 or whatever. Like, the Codex and Opus 6 have been kind of sort of touted as like the best places for that. But I mean, I was using Opus at first, and now I'm trying Codex.
So expensive.
More from a cost point of view. That was it. That was the deal breaker.
Yeah.
You mentioned something like Kimi something.
Kimi K 2.5 on Fireworks API. You have to customize OpenClaw to pull from that endpoint for the IQ layer, just like it does all the other ones. It's pretty easy if you vibe code it on Cursor, Windsurf, whatever. Just go in there, ask it to add the Fireworks API layer in place of the other stuff. Go sign up for Fireworks, get your Kimi K 2.5. It's got low latency there, and it's cheap. And it's like probably just as performant as Sonnet 4.5.
Okay,
like,
so
not quite Opus level, but it's just below it, like slightly,
Okay, so for you, for somebody who wants to run an agent / a team of agents, would you recommend a blend? Like have like Opus as like the one in charge, and then have like the subtask by Kimi?
I would so how I sort of think about it is like Kimi K would fuel all your agents by like its single connection. So it basically connects to the intelligence layer. And then from there, that intelligence layer spills down into the other workers it spins up. So your agents inherit whatever intelligence layer you select. That's how OpenClaw works, at least. So then you would just want to make sure you're not like, because I started spinning up like a ton of different workers on Codex and spent like $80 in a day. Like, it's not easy. It's not hard to do, but like, it just depends on how many workers it's running. Cause then it's not drawing as much from that IQ layer faucet of like information, just kind of rendering whatever the context sweeps up in that little gateway service that runs inside OpenClaw. And that gateway is really just such a bottleneck because it has to like keep using Chrome memory, which is so inefficient to begin with. Like just loading things inside of Chrome is like very weighty. So if you can like run, like my system runs native, like it doesn't run a gateway. It is like a gateway, like it is the core system. You're like literally talking to it. So there's no like processing of HTTP requests in like a window. It's just direct. And that helps a lot with memory utilization. You're not like busting your memory on your harness side just to, as you're trying to load a local agent, which I also hit another bottleneck there because it's like, I only have like 8 to 12 gigabytes of video RAM. So like, I was like, I have to pick like a pretty decent like reasoning model that like is well trained, compressed, can run local. For me, that was the DeepSeek R2 8.2 billion parameter data set or something. And that one's what I'm going to test with the benchmark off of. But ideally, you can swap those locals out too. And that's also part of how OpenClaw works. Like you can actually load local models in Olama in a little container in Docker. And that's how it would connect. And you wouldn't need even to use APIs at all. And you wouldn't get built on all that on time. And it could be on all the time, you know? So that's how you have to get there. It's not really quite that obvious. And it just ends up burning a hole in a lot of people's pockets, I think, in the beginning. Yeah.
I haven't hit any sort of payment issues with Codex yet, but the Opus 6, when I made the Hormozy bot, that like I was saying, like, and every day give me like some marketing analysis and give me like the highlights on crypto and the highlights on AI, and then that was like its only task. But then after 4 days, it was like $30 of credits. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, like what? Like,
Yeah. It goes so fast. Mine was like issuing its own PRs, and I had built in basically this mantra system into the heartbeat that contextually loads like little system messages that prompt it into quickly loading even more stuff. So I kind of like hyperdrived the whole thing, and I was like, I want it to always be on, like always looking for something to do. So every like 5 minutes, a system message would pop up as if I had sent it. I had a script like sending messages for me posting it, and would have to look at it, process the request. And then inside those messages, I bundle like a bunch of dictation and other things to kind of generally do like, and it ended up being on and working on all that stuff, raising its own PRs, updating its own code. Like it worked really well. And I was like, this is cool. But like my memory just then at the end filled all the way, and I couldn't even load the session anymore inside my computer. Like it was like bricked. And I'm like, okay, well, I've hit the end of what is possible like with this current infrastructure. So I threw it all to the side, and I was like, gonna rewrite this thing and do it the right way. And the whole thing with what I'm writing is you'll be able to just click an install package, like download an installer, like an MSI or EXE or whatever, DMG, or you install it for your system. It hooks up, like it sets itself up. It Docker containerizes itself for you. If you don't have Docker installed, it'll install Docker for you. Like it just does all of the setup. And then you just go through a nice little wizard, click, 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 paste these keys for 11 labs for voice, because I don't have local voice, which I could. If you like, I'll eventually put localized everything. But, you know, I think like all this stuff can be localized. It's just how quickly do we want to demo it? Like, you know, so, but yeah, it'll be all part of it. And then as the versions change, I'm going through different gemstones, you know, for each operating system. Yeah.
are you planning to launch a token for this?
Yeah.
Guys, hit that QR code, because I'm gonna make sure this guy, our community, is gonna have first dibs. So join that, scan that QR code, join our free community.
It's a real token, a utility.
And I'll
token.
see if I can talk to him about maybe getting us early access to use it or some kind of cool perk. So you guys join
Alpha.
that.
It's almost
Alpha.
It's almost done. I'm like, you know, I'm doing, it's Rust. So in the Rust community, there's a big joke. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm pretty much done. I'm just waiting for it to compile. And they send like a picture meme of some guy fencing. And it's just like this infinite fence. And you're just like, okay, I'm just waiting for it to compile. Because it takes a while to compile Rust. That being said, the benefit is it's preloaded. So like once it's compiled, it's the fastest language we have, like for moving data. So, I mean, I think that's worth the investment. So, yeah.
It sounds pretty dope, man. Well, look, like when you launch it, when you're hyping it up, you come on the show again and with like a deep dive.
500 to 1,000 people watching right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
How many people we got watching right now?
Sorry, you said 24,000.
No. I said probably 500 to 1,000.
A little bit less than that. Remember, we're in a bear market. We have 132 right now.
That's okay. That's still good.
It's still pretty
People will still watch the replay, so it'll go up.
It'll go up. Yeah, most people catch it after the fact, but shout out to all the chads that are here live,
good.
learning the alpha, hearing the alpha from the LP pools, Tibber, all that good stuff, and now hearing about this.
Carnelian.
Carnelian.
Yeah, we'll have it back on once it's ready in a couple of weeks.
Sorry, say the name again. Carnelian.
Yeah, Carnelian.
And I'm trying to get him to launch it on base because I was telling him about X402 and the thing Coinbase just launched, integrating that. So
yeah, the agent. It starts out. It's called Leon, and he's a lizard. So it's like chameleon, carnelian, lizard. Carnelian's actually a gemstone. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Like at first, I wasn't sure if you said like chameleon, and then but you carnelian.
Well,
But
the thing is, it has so many different languages in it. It almost is a chameleon in a sense.
But for real, not just because I'm base junkie, but if you look at just do the market research, like best places to launch, like base right now is like that's where like all the serious AI projects are. I know there's a few good ones on Solana too, and it just seems like those ones are pumping and dumping a lot faster.
that's true. That is true.
I'm gonna probably put it on base. I think that's the goal.
My guy.
Son of a bitch. I'm in.
You know I will.
Also, seeing as you are putting on base, check out base batches. Base batches 3. That's like submissions are live now. There's an AI track. I think there's also an AI robotics track. I don't know if this would fall into that, but it's 15 winners, and then I think it's 10 grand each, and then they fly all to San Francisco, which probably not a big deal for you guys.
No.
But
we'll put them up.
They'll fly the 15 winners to San Fran, and then you can pitch in front of VCs, and then the winners get like 50K or something more.
That's cool. I mean, this is kind of just like, I'm not even doing it for money, man. This is just literally like my gift to the world. Like, I want everybody to have safe, localized, like operating systems with agentic capabilities. And I think that's a human right, like that we get access to this stuff, and it's not something you have to pay an ass amount for. Like you don't need all that extra overhead. And I think like a lot of the systems out there today are just not really serving people yet, but the ideas are great. And I think a lot of stuff will evolve like over the next year and a half. I think we'll be in a different space. There'll be a lot of people that make stuff like what I'm making. Like, I'm not the only one over here. I meet another
But
person.
you're the best one.
Maybe. I hope I have the chance to show off a little bit of what I have to the world. So that'll be nice.
Carnelian. And do you have a Twitter page for it?
Not yet, but I will as soon as I cut the first release this week. So
all right, Alpha. We'll circle back next week, and we'll put your page on there for people to follow.
Sweet. Love that.
Dude, you're our first guest on the show, man.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
Thanks for coming down on short notice, man. That was good stuff.
That's awesome. That was I felt almost like a TED talk, like a masterclass in AI.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. It's crazy. Yeah. Big thing is just like, centralized, like one of my mentors, I'll end it with this, I guess. Like he recommended to me years ago, oh, you should make centralized systems for like distributing encryption across like recording data in a database. So like instead of like, how a blockchain works, right? It's passing it across nodes, and everybody's checking if the last person who signed it through the gossip network gets the key so that they can print the next thing into the ledger. So all of that security can actually apply internally. And so what I've done is I've made like basically checksum PostgreSQL memory. So like every worker to sign memory permanently has to do like the whole blockchain process where it listens for the gossip network change, and then it goes and gets in line, and based on its priority, it gets to write in a certain order. So like even the memory itself is like somebody tries to inject a prompt into here, they're not going to hear what the gossip checksum was, and it's not going to get saved permanently. So it would just be floating until it's just dissipated and nothing picks it up. So it'll be pretty hard to hack. That's the plan. I hope it goes well. So that's the goal. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure you join the community up there. QR code. Get the alpha. And yeah, Marco, pleasure to see you again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were in Portugal, right?
Denver.
I was in Portugal. Yeah.
You remember him now?
Yeah, I remember you now. I remember your hat too. Like you always wear hats. So
I mean, literally, like it's a Clark Kent Superman thing. You know, like I remember, like at the end of the conference, I think like at On-Chain Summit, I was just feeling tired and unsociable. I just took it off, and I'm just a guy.
Now you're like, everybody's like, who's that guy?
Yeah, like, him in. It's like, like, oh wait a second, I know him. He's a base junkie.
Yep.
That's funny, man. Well, it's a pleasure being here. What an honor. Thank you guys.
Dude,
Thanks for being our first guest.
Yeah.
That was a banger. Noah, do you have any final words to close us off?
I do not. I think that was I have nothing to add to that. I think I learned a lot even just listening right now. So yeah, no, join the free community. We'll see what we talk about next week. I'm sure there'll be some other crazy news, but that's it.
I mean, this has been an alpha-packed episode. I mean, we spoke about Tibber. We learned about the center line redistributions.
Yep.
Learning more about AI and the flaws of OpenClaw and solving it with Carnelian. So, guys, it's been a banger of an episode. Welcome back from ETH Denver. How can people check out the tune again?
It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, it's on Apple Music. Just type in Crypto Noah ETH Denver, or on Spotify or Apple Music, just type in Crypto Noah and you'll see all our stuff. He's the producer behind every song that I've made. So the Crypto State of Mind album, the Sui Emotion song, the Bitcoin song, the ETH Denver song, and the song that we'll be putting out this weekend about another huge organization in crypto that has yet to be disclosed.
Teasers.
Yep.
Teasers. Scintillating. Okay. All right, guys. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who tuned in today. We do these shows every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. UTC. Get the latest and greatest info within the base DeFi realm and cover some interesting topics such as AI as we did today. Anyway, we'll see you on the timeline. We'll see you in the trenches. Join the community, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay based.
No. You gotta do it right, man. I wasn't expecting that one.
All right, no, sorry. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly,
Stay
based.
There we go.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace.
I'm a baseline junkie. I'm a baseline junkie. I'm a baseline junkie. And I like it funky.